Welcome to Meeples on Meeples, episode 41. My name is Ian.
I'm Adam.
Patrick.
Brian.
As always, we'd like to welcome you to follow us on YouTube and friend us on Facebook, as well as visit our website, meeplesonmeeples.com. This week's game was King of Tokyo.
King of Tokyo is an ILO game. It's been out for a little bit. It's getting a lot of rave reviews. And the idea is basically you take the part of a monster destroying Tokyo. Big surprise there. You have up to 6 monsters to choose from, and this game actually plays up to 6 players. At the beginning of the game, you get your monster and your little player card here that controls your die, your victory points, and has a picture of your beast. You also, at the beginning of the game, pull 3 cards that can give you special abilities. And those 3 cards are purchased with these little green cubes that we call Jello shots.
Oh, yeah, you don't get the 3 cards. 3 cards go out.
Oh no, 3 cards go out to buy,
No,
and you can purchase them with the Jello shots that you get from your action,
What
your
are the
turn
actual
during the game.
names of
Yeah, what do
the
they call
actual-
these?
They're just power cubes, I think.
Power cubes!
Jello shots,
Gummies.
Jello shots is fun. Gummies. So at the beginning of your game, at the beginning of your turn, it's very simple. You roll all of the 6 dice. The 6 dice have different designs on them. The heart allows you to heal if you've taken any damage. The lightning bolt gives you a Jello shot. The numbers, if you get 3 numbers or 3 dice with the exact same number on them, you get that many points. So these 3 dice gives me 2 points, not 6. Gives me 2 points. If I roll another 2 later, I get an extra 1 point for every number I have over the 3 matching. The bear paw, or the claw, is an attack. Now, if you're the first player and you get a claw, your character goes on to Tokyo. Nothing else happens. From there on out, if you're in Tokyo and you roll a claw, you attack anybody outside of Tokyo. If you're outside of Tokyo and you get a claw, you attack the monster in Tokyo, and it's a give and take throughout that. Your goal is either A, to be the last monster standing through the different die rolls and attack, or to be the first monster to gain 20 victory points. As I said, victory points come from die. Also comes from the fact that every time you enter into Tokyo, you get 1 point, and for every turn after that you stay in Tokyo, you get 2 victory points per turn. And that's really the game in a nutshell.
And the way you get in and out of Tokyo is if you get attacked in there, you can take the damage, but then you have the right to jump out.
And then whoever attacks you has to go in. And that's the point.
It's like King of the Hill.
Yeah.
Basically.
Whenever you have the claw, if you're the first person to roll a claw, you have to go
Tokyo Hill.
into Tokyo.
Since the name of the game.
If somebody attacks you and gives you damage, you can choose after you still take the damage, but you can choose to vacate Tokyo, and the person who damaged you has to take your place, and you can't vacate unless somebody else damages you. So there's always somebody in Tokyo from that.
And then in a 5 or 6 player game, you can actually have someone in Tokyo and then someone in Tokyo Bay.
Yeah.
And when these guys do damage, they do damage to people off.
They don't.
This
do
kind of
damage
works
each other.
the same, but only in 5 or 6 players.
Yeah, they don't damage each other, but they can damage, and that's basically the game. You use your cubes to buy cards, which makes your character more powerful. You roll the die to see what actions you can do, and the goal is just to kill everybody else off or to gain 20 victory points.
What was everybody's thoughts on the components for this one?
I thought they were fun, really. I mean,
The artwork is great.
Yeah.
It's colorful. The monsters are all kind of cool looking.
It's
the
playful.
the cards have different artwork too. So excellent as far as like the drawing and the painting.
Not a lot of people are going to appreciate this, but I like that they have Reptar in the game. I think that's pretty awesome.
King Itchy from Monsters Inc.
Yeah.
King Itchy. But they also, I like the player cards because it's a dialed format, and it tells you exactly where you're at, and it's easy to keep track of. They're fairly tight on there. Sometimes they don't quite line up as well as they could, but I like the fact that everything
I like
is
player
there.
mats anyway. I mean, just in general, and the fact that it's not something that you can bump and knock pieces off of the wheel sticks and holds in place. It's easy to read.
And the cards all have different art on them as well, different powers, and so that makes it fun too. You look at this and say, oh, what powers can I add to my character?
I think the pieces are all really high quality. I mean, your actual character, it's a nice sturdy stand, fits tightly into it. It's a heavy cardboard. The player mats are heavy cardboard. Even the wheels are a thicker cardboard behind them. It's not like it's a paper wheel. It's going to break really easy.
It comes with plenty of Jello shots.
It's got nice dice.
And
nice
it's all
Jello
plastic
shots.
pieces
Yep.
that could have just done little cardboard shits, but they're actual plastic cubes that'll hold up well over time. So.
I know I already said this, but I think the artwork is just amazing.
It's fun.
It's really good.
It's a fun.
I like dice, and Ian, I think you were in on this with me. They're oversized, just big chunky dice.
Yeah.
And the symbols and numbers are huge and easy to read, which is cool. So like when you go to roll dice, I mean, you have 2 handfuls. You have a lot of dice to roll.
You feel like you're actually doing a monster roll. It just kind of brings you in.
The big numbers are good for the elderly in the group, so they can.
We can see them. That's right. That's right.
How about strategy on this one for you guys?
Oh, it's a game of attrition, I believe. You want to the point gathering is done over a series of rounds, and that's kind of like your almost seems like a secondary point to just keeping your life up and making sure you can damage other people.
Like our first game, I think we played it kind of,
really fast.
Balls to the wall, we're going to fight it out, and a lot of people died really quickly because of that.
The winner won last man standing. It didn't come down to victory points, we killed everyone.
In the second game, it was more of, as soon as the person that was in Tokyo took damage, they jumped out.
Yeah,
so people weren't hanging in there taking a lot of damage. It was a lot of in and out, and
that stretched the game out a bit. Quite a bit, actually, yeah.
It's, also, cards came into a play. The first time we kind of ignored the cards. I mean, we bought a few cards and, used our power cubes here to buy a few cards. But the second game, there was a lot more focus on cards and what they can do to your character and gaining power cubes, not just giving damage to the others. So there's a couple of different strategies you can take. Allow the cards to boost you up. Go for cards, boost you up so you have a big power play at the end. Jump in and out of Tokyo. Controlling your damage is important because you have no choice. Once you go into Tokyo, you have no choice but to get out at the right time. And then also be strategic about how you're going to raise your points.
Maybe it's how we played it, but I found early in the game it's more of focusing on attacks and health. And then as you whittle players away, then you have more of an opportunity to focus on the points. You get more people that are going to be doing the attacking, and you have the ability to finally start rolling for numbers, finally start getting cards that are going to rack up the points for you.
Well, one game, my strategy was I was not in the city at all. Like, I spent very little time there, but I had a huge number. Now, I did end up getting eliminated just because somebody got an amazing roll on damage with the claws or whatever. But I had way more victory points than anybody else just because I focused on the dice rolls. I went for the numbers. I probably should have healed myself a little more, and I would have died. But I had
that strategy worked well. By the way.
No, but I had 3 times the score that you guys had because I was rolling threes. I was keeping the numbers and focusing on points. I said, forget attacking people, forget Tokyo. I could have won the game. I mean, I was really close.
And that's a good point, though. If you focus on one strategy alone, you will die.
Yeah, I think
it's true.
And that can
I was going for all attacks, and I died out. You're going for all.
Numbers, the 3s and the 2s,
You ended up with, and I don't know how this worked, but you always had just a ton of these Jello Jiggler cube things.
My second game, my goal was I focused on the hearts pretty much all the time. Until we were down to about 4 players, I was always going for hearts.
Yeah, but you had
lightning bolts.
A lot of lightning bolts.
I wasn't going for the attacks at that point. I was just trying to keep myself, because you really you're always, it seems like, almost on the verge of death when you're playing 6 people. So I was always going for the hearts, and then once we got it down to a smaller group, that's when I started going for the attacks on people, because it was more and the points.
Should we go to likes and dislikes, or do we have any other strategies that you can think of?
I think it's a pretty basic game. I mean,
All right. I like the components. I know we already covered it, but since this is the like section, I like the player boards, and I think the monsters are all different enough that they're easy to tell who's who, because they're nice and large character stands, so that's nice.
I like the card, the specialty cards are really different, and that we played this game a few different times, and then I don't think we've really repeated any of the cards, and it would take at least a good 5 to 10 playthroughs of either really long games or just 10 just short games to actually get through an entire deck and then see all the cards.
You don't go through a lot per game.
No, you don't. It seems that way, at least.
But not the way we play.
Yeah. not the
I mean, in the end of the game, I mean, what our average was, what everybody had maybe like 1 to 3 cards. I mean, you at least had 1, but you really didn't have much more than 3.
I really like the fast-paced nature of it, the player interaction, and the fact that it's a lot of attacking each other, moving in and out of Tokyo, like we were that second game we played. It's just one of those where I felt like I was always involved, and I didn't feel like I was waiting around for my turn.
That leads into one dislike, though. I kind of dislike games where once you die, you're eliminated and out of the game. Now, we've done 2 reviews in a row. Our last week's was room 25, and this one where when you died,
you're done.
You're done. You just watch everybody else play. And luckily, this plays pretty quickly. But one of our games, it started to stretch on, was just Adam, Pat, and Pat left, and it was like, okay, but now I'm bored.
Winning that one.
By points.
So your review's gonna be like 9, 10.
I won all the games we played. This game is awesome.
This brings me back to the idea of the old game of Rampage. If you remember the video game of Rampage, it's fun, it's fast, it's easy. You're playing these giant monsters that slug it out. It's cartoony. I think it's a good family game in that it's just silly dice rolling and matching things up. It says it's for 8 and up, and I can easily see 8-year-olds being able to pick this up very easily.
I see lower than that, if anything.
With maybe a little help. Yeah.
I like the fact that the cards are great. The art on the cards are...
I'll be with that.
Thank you. The arts on the cards are goofy and are funny, and it adds just a flavor to it. It has a great theme. You can feel the theme, you can play the theme, and I like a game that says, here's the theme, they're offering it to you, and it actually plays like that.
The verbiage on it is always, at least on the cards, is always must, can.
Yeah.
You have to really kind of
read the rules. I don't want to call people out, but there are a couple of videos out there that state that you can have the option to do things. If you read the rules, you have to go into Tokyo. You have to.
If certain things happen.
You have no choice in these things. Clear. So it really forces you to play and think to yourself, well, I got a lot of claws, but if I have a lot of claws, I'm going to be in Tokyo next. I only have 2 health. Maybe I don't want to do that. Maybe
I often did choose to reroll claws in one game. I was like, no, I do not want to end up in Tokyo.
And you lost anyways.
Yeah,
but that works well for you again.
He got close.
How about our reviews on this? We go a scale 1 to 10, 1 being terrible, 10 being great. Ian?
I would shoot at an 8 on this one. There's nothing really wrong with the game. It's fun to play. What really keeps it from like the 9/10's not there. I mean, there's not a whole lot there, and you're not probably going to have too many replays at least right away on it. So it does have that kind of repetition, and it doesn't have like a fully extended game playability to it. But for the most part, it's really fun. I'd buy the game, and I'd look to play it again.
I'm going to join you actually. I think 8's a good number for it. It's fun. I think we kind of beat it to death. The theme's great. The art's great. I don't really need to say a whole lot more about that. The rules aren't all that complicated. Like you said, they're very clear. Must, can, that type of stuff. I just had a lot of fun playing it. I like the fact that it's a short game. You can get through it fast, and the player interaction is just great on it. It's fast paced, and you don't feel like you're ever just waiting for your turn to come around. So I'd give it an 8.
I'm going to give it, wow, I hate doing halves, so I'm not going to do a half. I'll give it a...
How about a quarter?
A quarter? Yeah, a quarter.
How many unicorns is
I'm going to give it a 7. I want to give it an 8 so bad that the only problem is replayability.
Yeah.
It's going to diminish a little bit because it's a great fun party game. But the one thing is, you're still doing the same thing over and over again.
Would this be a good entry game?
Oh, it'd be a fantastic gateway game. I think it's a fantastic gateway game. I like the fact that it plays off of the theme of, like I said, Rampage, the old Rampage game. I think that was fun. It's very easy. It has good components. The only thing that concerns me a little bit is the overall replay on it. I do want to get the expansion to it. There's an expansion that makes it be a Mega Panda. It's a monster panda.
Does the panda do anything extra?
No, it's just like this, but it adds another character that you can play, new cards, so that'd shake it up a little bit.
I think you could almost make your own cards.
Oh, you probably
make
could.
your own characters. I could be a character, and I could just totally destroy Adam's character, and I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, you probably could, but it gives it has another character into it.
Very unrealistic.
But I do want to say that, but I do worry about the replayability, so I give it a 7.
I'm gonna go 7 also. I almost want to go a little bit lower.
Really?
But
he lost 2 in a row.
He sit out for a while.
Yeah.
Because you don't own the game.
No, here's why. This game has been talked and hyped up so much in the reviews. If you go out and watch videos on it, and everybody's playing and everybody's talking about it, and this was just like the bomb. This was like this huge game coming out of 2012. And when you hear so many people reviewers and people say, oh, this was like the most fun I've had, and blah, 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 it kind of sets the bar awfully high. And then I finally get around to playing it, and I'm like, yeah, it's good, but it just was too overhyped. If I'd maybe gotten into this cold turkey without having any clue,
do you think that's
it'd be
fair,
a solid 7, 8.
Yeah, I don't think that's a fair review.
I know I think
How
it's
is that not a fair review?
I don't care. I'm picking it apart.
Because the people who watch this are going to be like, I've heard nothing but amazing things, and then they're going to buy it and they'll be like, it's not that good. But it's not the best game of 2012.
But putting that out of your mind.
Okay,
putting all that out of your mind, what would your review be?
That's why I'm going a 7 now. that almost makes, like I said, all that hype makes me want to go like 6.
What do you think was missing that would have made it hyped up? 3-dimensional plastic models, or
no? I mean the components. I love the components. It's just I don't know. I didn't feel like the the theme of fighting monsters kind of comes across, but destroying the city never comes into play, really. I didn't feel like that.
That is true.
Every once in a while, the cards are like, oh, there's tanks. And what do the tanks get me? Oh, I take 4 damage, I get victory. I would almost like to see something where you're actually destroying a city and removing parts of the board or something. I don't know.
Well, there's a Godzilla game out
the
there.
theme is low.
There's a Godzilla game out there, but it's that does that. But
it got
didn't come
so
very well.
hyped up. I thought it was going to be awesome, and it's just good. It's not great.
Well, I think you're reaching, but that's cool.
So.
Well, there you have it, King of Tokyo.
Keep an eye on our Facebook page and YouTube to see what we're reviewing next week.
See you then.